Okay, good morning. Welcome back to Redneck Rantings. It is about 4:30 in the morning on Monday, March the 24th, and we got us a brand new rant. Um, Trying to keep my voice down on account of the fact that it's 4:30 in the morning and the wife is still trying to sleep. Um, want to talk about the Mueller report here, and specifically what has been released in regards to its findings and what this ultimately means for President Trump. Now, real quick here, I am a member of the hashtag Me Too movement. Okay, I'm a former Democrat who has changed teams. All right, I turned 18 years old in 1989. From 89 to 2016, I voted a straight Democratic ticket. I should say up until 2016. The 2016 election rolls around, and I found myself faced with a choice between pancreatic cancer and colon cancer in terms of who was going to run my country for the next 4 years. So I voted the Libertarian Party, and well, President Trump won, and I've gotten to spend the last few years watching my former partners in the Democratic Party lose their friggin' minds and basically throw a temper tantrum. I was not initially a fan of President Trump. In the early days of his presidency, I didn't really see a whole lot to change my mind about him being a jerk. And it was more just a matter of watching the gross immaturity of the Democrats who couldn't handle the fact that their team lost. That really turned me off to the party. As the years have gone by, I have grown to like and respect President Trump. I don't think he's a great president. I don't think he's, in terms of being a Republican, I don't think he's fit to comb crumbs out of Teddy Roosevelt's mustache. But I do think that he has done more good than bad for this country, and I do personally agree with more of his decisions than I disagree with. That's just to establish a baseline for how I personally feel. Now, as you're aware, for the last couple of years, President Trump has been under investigation for allegations of working with the Russians to steal the election. Excuse me. And the Democrats were trying to get him thrown out of office on that grounds. They launched this investigation. Fast forward a couple of years and several $1 million of taxpayer money that could have gone towards homeless people or education or our vets or, hell, providing security while low impact criminals cleaned up garbage alongside the road. And it turns out to be a great big nothing burger. What William Barr has released is that there is no evidence whatsoever that either President Trump nor anyone in his administration, and this is a quote from the Daily Wire's report on the matter, neither President Trump nor anyone in his administration nor any other American colluded with the Russians in order to interfere with the results of the 2016 presidential election. Folks, I don't care how you feel about Trump, okay? Personally, there are things about the guy that I think are terrific. There are things about the guy that really just bug the piss out of me. You really don't want to get me started on his environmental policy. If you're a fan of him, it's one of the ways in which I disagree with him. I don't believe that it was correct of him to be in support of the bump stock ban. Again, I'm a big gun guy. But the reality is that his political opponents wasted a ridiculous amount of resources that could have been better spent improving the overall quality of life here in the United States in some small fashion. I realize that our federal budget is like in the billions and trillions of dollars, and that a couple of $1,000,000 here in the big scope of things is not that huge. But you know what? You take $2,000,000 and you point it again at the homeless or at our veterans or at our schools, and it makes a difference, okay? We could have used it to do some kind of good. Instead, it was used to fuel a political vendetta machine because the Democrats simply can't handle the idea that, wait a minute, our team lost? Grow up. Get over it. All right? This ridiculous hysteria has got to end. This constant shrieking, we need to impeach him, he's a criminal, etc., has got to end. Okay? Is he a perfect person? Hell no. Has he made some questionable choices? Yes. Does he say things that even his supporters like me kind of go, dude, you could have phrased that better? Absolutely. But he's not a criminal. He hasn't committed any criminal actions against the United States, and he hasn't done anything to deserve impeachment. So settle the fuck down, all right? There is nothing that the man has done other than have the audacity to win when you thought it was your turn to merit criminal prosecution. This is part of why the walk away movement is growing, and this is why the Democrats excuse me, chances do not look real great for 2020 because people are sick of this nonsense. They are sick of this juvenile bullshit. Okay? And I'm going to be doing a rant probably tonight on the Electoral College. But this is another example of people who are supposed to be adults not being able to handle the fact that they didn't get their way. All right? When I was a kid, if I acted the way the Democrats, the grown adults in this country on the left, are acting because I didn't get my way, like say I was in the store and I said, Mom, I want a toy, and my mom said, no, Bobby, you can't, and I behaved the way the Democrats have spent the last 2 years behaving, my mom, who was not a person who reached for a belt as a first choice, would have taken me over her knee right there in the middle of the store and dared anybody to say anything. Okay? Grow your ass up. Is he perfect? No. Is he, like I said, on the same level of Lincoln or Roosevelt or some of the other great Republican presidents? No. He's a solid, workman-like president who has done some good for this country, done some stuff that maybe wasn't so great, and said a few things that really weren't the most politically correct. But that's kind of his appeal when it comes to working class people like me, is the fact that he doesn't pussy around and run everything he says through a filter of, well, what if it might possibly step on somebody's toes, okay? He is a plain, blunt-spoken individual who simply doesn't have time for this bullshit. And yeah, occasionally it means that you kind of got to wince and apologize for his choice of verbiage, but who cares? Okay, he gets the job done. He looks out for American interests. He looks out for strong borders. He is doing well by the economy. He's doing a number of things that have really, really helped this country. Unemployment in the African American community is at an all-time low. Unemployment in general in this country is at an all-time low. The economy is doing well. If he were a Democrat, they'd be loving him. Instead, they're trying every move they can make to put the cuffs on him. All right? The guy is not a crook. He's just the guy who beat your chosen one, and y'all need to settle down. All right? Knock it off. Grow up. You lost. A new election is right around the corner. Try again in 2020. But this constant BS of, well, just because there's no evidence doesn't mean he didn't do it. Maybe, maybe not, but it does mean that y'all need to shut the hell up about it. All right? I saw a thing on Facebook that said, well, it doesn't matter. We know he did it. If somebody walked into a court of law and said, it doesn't matter that I don't have any proof that Bob in St. Paul, the redneck rantings jerk, stole my car, it doesn't matter that I don't have any evidence to that effect, but I know he stole my car, the judge would look at them, get the fuck out of my court, are you stupid? Quit wasting my time. And that's what we're doing. We're wasting our time. We live in the greatest nation ever. We live in a place with unprecedented prosperity. Poor people in this country have it better than middle-class people in other countries. Poor people in this country have it better than poor people ever did at any time ever in human history. And we're screwing around with this bullshit. Okay? We live in an amazing country. But we have our share of problems. They need to be fixed. And instead, we're chasing after this wild goose. And we're doing it because half of the country has somehow abandoned the maturity to accept the fact that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you get your way, sometimes you don't. President Trump has been exonerated. You don't have to like it. You simply have to accept it and move on with your goddamn life. That's all for now. I will be back probably with a rant about the Electoral College tomorrow, maybe even later today. In the meantime, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button if you want to be notified. I would like to thank my small but growing number of subscribers. Maybe show this around to some of your friends. Find out what they think. In the meantime, be well, be safe, be here when I get back. Bye-bye.